Okay, I'm going to show you how to change your cam position sensor in a 2005 Ford Excursion. It's actually not that difficult. There's plenty of good videos on how to change it. This video is more about how to extract the broken piece when you invariably try to pull it out and it breaks, the body breaks off in the engine block. And so I did some looking online, and I'm not finding a lot of good help as far as how to get that piece out without having to take it into a dealer or a mechanic and drop the engine block to pull this broken body out here if this part breaks off. So that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, it's a $10, $15 part, which is a no-brainer. Went to pull it off, got it off in 5 minutes, no problem. And without, before long, this body had broken off and this had pulled out of that body, and the remaining piece was left in the engine block. And I was like, how am I gonna do this? And so I went through a whole bunch of different techniques over a period of several days, trying to epoxy different things in there to extract it out. Everything pulled out. I tried wall anchors like this. I tried doing something similar to this with some plastic epoxy, because remember, this is a plastic body on here. So I used some plastic epoxy that was supposed to work for plastics. That didn't work. I thought something like this might work. Just a regular wall anchor, and I got one slipped in there. The problem wasn't, it wouldn't go deep enough, and so this is what happened. And because it ended up just twirling this piece up towards, that was not constrained by the body of the cam position sensor that was still broken in there. So so that didn't work, and you can see I went through several different versions of that. And then I finally thought, well, I'm going to try something different. And so what I ended up doing, what ended up working, which is why I'm sharing this with you, is taking a lag screw from Home Depot that's just smaller than the hole. And I want to say it was like a 1/4 inch lag screw, but just find the largest lag screw that will fit in the hole if you have this problem. And then use some QuikSteel epoxy. And this stuff is really cool, so I'll show you what it's like. And it's just a tube, a roll of epoxy, and it opens up like this, and you just slice off a piece of that roll. And so I sliced off maybe a 1/2 inch of that, and you knead it up, and you only have a couple minutes to work once you start kneading it, so you got to work pretty quickly. But it did a great job, because what it did is it hardened into that plastic body and bonded to it really nicely. And so then I was able to start turning it with my wrench, and then I just turned it in the body to loosen it up to make sure I was reducing the friction on it, and then got my pry bar out like this and just gently pulled on it out as I turned with one hand. So that worked. And so, you know, it's a little bit, here's the hole that it was out of. You can see it's pretty easily accessible. There's the hole. It's pretty easily accessible from the front of the engine compartment. I have to stand up on a stool to reach over it because the Excursion's pretty high, but it's not hard to get to. It's just right to the right hand side of your engine as you're facing it. And that's how I got the broken piece out. So if you have that problem, and you likely will if you try to pull it out, mine's a 2005, and this is the only time it's ever gone out, and so it was just brittle in there and broke right off. I mean, I really had no chance. But you know, hope this helps you.